Okay, so today I am doing my CD collection. This is the medium I prefer over the others, and this is the music that I purchase and fill my ears with. I'm going to be splitting this up into two parts. The first thing I'm going to do is go through my bigger collections here. These are bands where I've sort of hunted down the discography I bought from online or I found in a record store, I bought in bulk. So yeah, these are bands that mean something to me. So I'm going to go through these first and explain why I have them, and then we're going to go through the shelf, which is more. I have a few CDs from this band. I may get the rest of their stuff in the future, but it doesn't make sense for me to put the entire Motorhead discography on the shelf because it'll take up almost an entire rack. So the first two stacks we have here, we have two of the big four. We have Slayer and Megadeth. I do have every single Slayer album, as well as a couple of singles and compilation stuff. I kind of went crazy after seeing Slayer for the first time last fall. I already had most of the 80s stuff, and someone was selling a lot of the 90s and so on for pretty cheap. And by that point, I was only missing a couple, so I went ahead and completed the collection. And in case you're curious, my favorite Slayer album is Seasons in the Abyss. We have Megadeth. I do have everything up to Cryptic Writings in its original pressing, as Megadeth is notorious for shitty remasters, as well as some of the later albums, which I do quite enjoy. I think Endgame in particular is very much slept on. Coming over here, we have the extensive catalog of Glenn Danzig, one of my favorite musicians of all time. So we have every solo Danzig album with the exception of Black Aria 2, which I'll get for a decent price at some point. I even do have a couple of extended editions with bonus tracks and whatnot. We have the Lost Tracks in the Groovier font. I also have the basic edition, which is in storage somewhere. And then coming over here, we have some Samhain and Misfits, as well as some other Misfits eras, but I do prefer the Danzig era over everything else, as you may guess. I think I'm only missing one of the collections. We have all four Samhain studio albums, as well as a few extra Misfits albums. We have the Jerry Only Devil's Reign era, as well as the two Graves albums, and you can probably get an impression of how I feel about Michael Graves. Fuck Michael Graves. Next up, we have Iron Maiden, same deal as Megadeth. All of the earlier albums are in their original mixings or earlier releases because the remasters are terrible. I'm not too crazy about what Maiden has been doing recently. It's just a little too proggy for me. I was kind of got bored really quickly with Senjutsu, even though I do have the box set right here, which I purchased for half off on Black Friday. Also have some live albums in there, and even though I don't have Live After Death, which is kind of an essential for Maiden, I do have my favorite album with Rock in Rio. Also have a couple of singles here, which I'll pull out. These are basically CD singles with a bunch of stuff that may have been unreleased, and we got some commentary with Nico McBrain. And if anything else, it's just cool to have more Derek Riggs art in your collection. We also have all of the Bruce Dickinson solo albums, Chemical Wedding being my favorite album ever released. I think when you put Bruce Dickinson solo works next to his stuff that he's done with Maiden, it's very clear which one he has more passion for. Over here, we have most of the Guar catalog. I think I'm missing a couple. I know I'm missing Bloody Pit of Horror, and I think I'm missing one more. But Guar is very much a special band for me. I just think Dave Brockie is one of the most brilliant frontmen of all time. And I think his sort of campaign to always explore his creativity and imagination and what outlandish stuff his band could do is very inspiring. Next up, we have every Ghost album. Yes, everyone's favorite not metal band. They have a soft spot for me as well, but a lot of their newer stuff, not really feeling. I didn't care for Skeleta too much, but I do have some cool pressings. We have the Meliora Redux with Zenith. This is the most expensive CD I've ever purchased. And then we also have the Japanese Opus Eponymous with the Here Comes the Sun bonus track. And then the last stack we have over here in the corner is Motorhead. I have every single studio release, with some of them being extended editions, such as this Seriously Bad Magic set, as well as a few live albums. I don't have every single one, but I do have the ones that I think are the most important. Motorhead has done more for me in developing my taste in music than any other band, and even though I never got to see them live, I still have all of the stuff here to listen to. I think a question that a lot of younger metal fans get asked is that if you could see a band or a lineup that you never had the chance to, that's gone now, which one would it be? And my answer always has been Motorhead. I think there are a lot of great bands which I would have loved to have had the opportunity to see, but Motorhead is special to me, and they always will be. And then starting up with the shelves, I'm not going to pull out every single CD because I think you guys are smart and can read spines, but I will call out some of the more interesting stuff. We have 1914 with Where Fear and Weapons Meet, some great war-themed metal from Ukraine. I definitely want to do a video talking about war in metal music and how it's portrayed right and how it's portrayed wrong. We have Acid Bath, both albums with Kite Strings being signed by Sammy Duet. Acid Witch, the latter of which is signed by Shagrat and Dave, which I met out in front of the Rainbow Bar and Grill before their set opening for Venom Inc. in Los Angeles. That was a great night. Got some Ahab, some Angel Witch. We have a couple of Autopsy CDs. Severed Survival being one of my favorite albums ever written. Some Bat Hoary. We have the album of my childhood. A couple of Behemoth CDs. I wasn't too impressed with the most recent release, but The Satanist will forever be a very, I'm not sure if revolutionary is the word, but a very memorable album in the metal world. We got some Bell Witch, some Belphegor. We have all 4 Bewitcher studio albums, with some of them being signed by the respective lineups of that era. We got both Black Braid CDs. That new single was Kick Ass. We have some Black Flag, and even though I do prefer Henry Rollins' era Flag, I think just his voice is a lot better. My favorite Black Flag track will always be Nervous Breakdown with Keith Morris on vocals. One of my favorite songs of all time. We got some Black Sabbath here. We have an album that absolutely no one will shut the hell up about. It was good. It wasn't that good, let's be real. A couple of Body Count albums with the debut being signed by the man himself, which is really cool. He was very quiet when I met him. A couple of Cannibal Corpse albums up here, and some Carcass as well. Coming down to the next shelf, we have some more Carcass. We have Castle Rat. They put on a very fun set at Hell's Heroes, so I picked up their album. We have some Cruel Force right here. I definitely want to pick up both of their later albums. The most recent one was a ton of fun, and it's very fitting for summertime. We have some early Death albums. We have Deicide here. Deicide, definitely my favorite band to come out of the Tampa death metal scene in the 90s. So I have the first 4 albums as well as a couple of later ones, and Stench of Redemption is actually a really, really underrated album. We have some Descendants, Devastator, Dismember. I definitely have to get Massive Killing Capacity, but Everflowing Stream is, again, one of my favorite albums ever. All 3 Dissection albums, I feel like Re and Chaos gets a bad rap. I actually think it is pretty good. I don't think it's as good as the other 2, but I think it is a very good album. Hatred for Mankind, this was an album that I never gave a chance to, and then I decided to one day, and I absolutely fell in love with it. It's so dark and misanthropic. It's great. We have Dream Unending. This is actually one of the albums that I sleep to, and I mean that in a good way. It's very cathartic and relaxing, and that album art is absolutely beautiful. I actually bought a 24 by 36 poster of that because I liked it so much. We have the first 3 Entombed albums. I do actually have a copy of Wolverine Blues with the Marvel character. However, that one has some samples taken out and some censorship, so I made sure to grab the actual full-length edition, but I do have that one. It's just in storage. We have a crap ton of Exhumed. Relapse was having a sale one day, and I kind of went crazy. A lot of people actually say that the earlier stuff is their favorite, Gore Metal and Slaughter Cult. However, Horror is my favorite Exhumed album. Love the music, I love the cover art, and I was able to get it signed by the entire lineup, so that is pretty cool. We got some Exodus with Fabulous Disaster, actually be my favorite Exodus album. Was happy to see Zetro play some songs off that before he tapped out of Exodus. We got some Exploited. I ordered this one on election night. Make of that what you will. And then lastly, finishing off the shelf, we have Possessed by Fire by Exhumer, which is very deliciously fast and great thrash album. Coming down to the next shelf, we have an Empty Iron Brew. We have some Ghoul, which is sort of a punk thrash crossover kind of band. They're a ton of fun. If you haven't seen them live, I definitely would recommend it. Splatter Thrash is a ton of fun, and a lot of the later stuff is really cool. We got some Goatwhore. We have Hellripper. I did get a couple of these signed when I saw Hellripper live in Berlin when I was traveling through Europe over the summer. It was a great way to spend a Thursday night in Berlin. Ton of fun. Those Germans really know how to party. Got some Hemorrhage, Incantation, Immolation, Immortal. Just recently saw Abath do an Immortal set twice, and that was a lot of fun. We have Tony Foresta's other project, Iron Reagan. We have John Cena's rap album. I am a WWE fan. If I ever meet John Cena, this is what I want him to sign. It's just, it hasn't aged very well. You can definitely tell it's a 2004, 2005 rap album, but it still is a lot of fun. John Cena's very goofy, and we love him, even though he's betrayed everything. We got a couple of Judas Priest albums. You can definitely tell who I like more, Priest or Maiden. Not a discography that I am burning to collect right now, and I do want the original pressing, so I'll get them when I get them. We have some Diet Slayer right there, some Greatest Hits stuff, some Kiss, Creator, Pleasure to Kill, Caius, which was a really fun album to listen to while in college. Great times with that one. We have Lost Society, Fast Loud Death. It is a damn shame what they turned into, but I do like their thrashier stuff. We have a copy of Dawn of the Blackhearts. Yes, it's uncensored. No, I'm not pulling it out. We both know what it looks like. Some McCoy Tyner because I have class. Meek Mill, Dreams and Nightmares. I am a Philly sports fan, so this was kind of a necessity for me. A couple of Merciful Fate and some Metallica. Yes, I know I'm missing some essential Metallica. I'll get it when I find it. I'm just not willing to pay shipping for it. I do have my favorite one, which is probably Master of Puppets. It bounces between that one and Kill 'Em All, but pretty sure it's Master of Puppets. So I have 3 of these albums. And then I have a couple of more down here. We have S&M and Saint Anger. So I have Saint Anger, but I don't have Ride the Lightning. So make of that what you will. We have every single Midnight album. Midnight is one of my favorite bands. I just love the stripped down, raw, black and thrash sound. It's just a lot of fun, and they're a great time live. We have some Ministry. We have the complete discography of Minor Threat. We have a bunch of Municipal Waste over here. Some of the later ones are signed by the lineup. Municipal Waste, out of every live show I've seen, they're always the most fun. They always deliver. Never a bad time with Municipal Waste. I feel like they're a band every metal fan should see, even if they're not into that sort of pizza party thrash sound. We have a couple of Necrogoblicon CDs right here. I finally was able to pick up a full-length LP on CD, which they don't seem to want to repress, so I had to buy it at the merch table. So that was hard to find, and the ones that are being resold online go for a crazy markup. A couple of Nunslaughter CDs. We have this CD single thing that was sold on their recent tour. My pal Nathan picked up a copy for me because, they didn't come anywhere near the West Coast. Covers of Turn Up the Hell by Midnight and Symbolic Immortality by Massacre. So that's a cool novelty. Some Obituary, which I'm actually not the biggest fan of Obituary, but Cause of Death is a pretty good album, so I picked up a signed copy on their recent tour for actually a very good price. It was only $25 for an album that was fully signed. We got a band that has been very relevant lately on the Tic Tac. We have Pentagram, got old Bobby Liebling, gotta love him. We have, in my opinion, the most underrated death metal album of all time with Consuming Impulse. Absolutely love it. And then we have a band that has been very controversial in the past 6 months. We have Possessed, Seven Churches. I'll be very short but very thorough with this. I don't support what Jeff Becerra did. I think it's absolutely disgusting, and I will not be supporting any of his future endeavors. That being said, this album is 40 years old. It pioneered a genre, and I don't have any issue in owning it for that reason. This is 40 years before Jeff turned into a creep, so we think. And so I don't listen to it too much, but it still is a good album. There's still some good stuff on there, and I'm not getting rid of it, even though, some people say you should. Power Trip, can't wait to see them. We got some Ramones. We have Rancid, Out Come the Wolves, another one of the albums I liked to go to very often while in college. Some Razor, Violent Restitution is arguably my favorite album to come out of Canada. Repulsion, some Rob Zombie, and we have some Rollins Band here. And off this album, Low Self-Opinion is one of my favorite songs ever written. I absolutely love Rollins and everything he's about. And then coming down to the last shelf, we have some more Rollins Band with Weight. We have a Sadistic Intent CD, which I purchased at Hell's Heroes. I'm actually probably going to rip this thing open and listen to it when I'm done recording. Scorpions, Crazy World. I picked this up while in Berlin, and given that the song Wind of Change is on here, I felt Berlin was the most fitting city to pick this thing up in. Got some Sepultura, some Skeletal Remains, which is kind of crushed. Oh well. Got a few Skinny Puppy CDs. I am missing one that I want. I think it's Too Dark Park. I think that's the blue one, right? But I kind of went on a Skinny Puppy binge after seeing their final tour at LA. I do like the sexy, industrial, dark, goth sound, which is a lot of fun. I'm not goth, as I'm sure you guys can figure out, but I do appreciate that subculture. We have my other favorite album to come out of Canada. We have Spectral Wound's most recent release, which I enjoyed quite a bit, and their set was insane. We have a couple of Wados albums. We have In the Sign of Evil and Obsessed by Cruelty. We got Tapping the Vein, which is probably my favorite Sodom album. Ooh, look at that guy. We got Spirit World over here. We have The first two are signed by Stu Folsom. These are my recent acquisitions, with Pagan Rhythms, that's signed on the inside, as well as Death Western. And even though I fucking hate the tiny sleeve, that cover art is absolutely insane. Just really, really cool. We have a SpongeBob album. My dream is to get J-Dog to sign this someday. Right across Sponge's face, especially since there is a Pantera track on here. I don't actually like Pantera. As you saw, the P section was completely devoid of it. But I do have that, so I do have Pantera in my collection. Over here, we have World Downfall. I did a video with this one of my favorite albums ever. We got some Toxic Holocaust over here. Kind of the same deal with Exhumed. Relapse was having a big sale, so I knocked out most of their collection. I do like Toxic Holocaust. Quite a bit. Evil Never Dies in particular is just a phenomenal album, and this will be on the top of 2000s video. And then lastly, we just have some miscellaneous stuff thrown about. We got some Twin Temple here. Always a fun time. I love the dark doo-wop sound they got. It's not for everybody, but I think it's pretty fun. Got some Witchery, some Warbringer, Watain, Worm. We have Venom here with the only two albums I really care to collect. And then last and certainly not least, we have Violence, Eternal Nightmare. This is a 2 CD set. Violence is absolutely incredible. And then on these last two shelves, we have a couple of long boxes and CD sets. We have an MF Doom, Operation Doomsday, and a Dr. Dre, The Chronic. This one in particular is special to me because when my roommate in college would always go out, he'd always come home, on Saturday morning, and he'd be cooking breakfast to albums like this. So brings back some good memories. I was happy when they reissued that. And then coming down here, we have the 60s Rock Experience, a 3 CD set, which I found for dirt cheap, so I figured I'd just get some 60s in my life. And then we have an Electric Light Orchestra set. This is a 3 CD set. And you have some stuff in here about Jeff, which is All I Need from ELO, no more, no less. Jeff Lynne, I think, is a really incredible musician, and this is absolutely perfect. But that is going to pretty much wrap up my CD collection. It has definitely become a bit of a habit, and probably not the best one, but hey, at least I'm not spending the money on Coke, so we'll take the victories as we get them. Hope you guys enjoy this little flip through, and as always, please share what you have been listening to or what you think should be added to this collection. I am always open to new recommendations. But until next time, I've been Wilhelm Carver. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.